Good morning, true believers. Today's edition of Marshmallow Man TV has one issue and one issue only today, and that's the repeal of the death penalty in the state of Maryland. The House of Delegates yesterday voted to follow the suit of the state Senate, who a couple weeks ago voted to abolish the death penalty. The House voted to abolish the death penalty by, I believe, a score of 82 to 56. There are three members who did not vote, all Republicans. Um, Howard County's delegation was not exactly reflective of how I feel Howard County feels about the death penalty. The Howard County delegation vote was 4 in favor of the repeal and 4 against. Voting in favor of the repeal were the 3 delegates from District 13, Gazone, Pendergrass, and Turner, and Liz Bobo from 12A. Voting against the repeal were delegates Miller and Bates in District 9 and delegates Malone and Du Bois in District 12B. So very interesting votes from a political standpoint. For those of you who know about the state legislative redistricting, and for those of you who don't, I'm going to inform you. District 12 is changing with the next local elections. Liz Bobo is going to be retiring, and there will be no more single-member District 12A, and instead, there will be no more double-member District 12B. There will simply be one 3-member District 12, which is about 51% Howard County and about 49% Baltimore County. So it's going to be it's still going to be a split district, but a little bit more skewed towards Howard County voters who are also a little bit more active to vote in the primary. So the Du Bois and Malone votes are a little bit interesting. I guess I'm not surprised that they voted against the appeal for the death penalty, but I am surprised that they voted against the appeal or the repeal based on the politics of what's coming down, of what's going to be their reality next year. If I were Clarence Lamb or possibly Mary Kay Siggety or possibly anybody else who was thinking about running against them in District 12 in the primary, I would be kind of psyched by their votes, because there is clearly a defining issue about where their votes are different than the voters of District 12, at least the Howard County side of District 12. How do I feel about this vote? I have gone on record on the blog numerous times in support of having the death penalty in the state of Maryland. I think that the tide of history and the tide of the nation where we are right now is against the death penalty. As we're seeing, there was another state, memory is failing me this early Saturday morning as to what other state just recently decided to repeal the death penalty. I want to say Oregon, but I may be wrong. So Maryland is the second state in fairly short order. And if you look at issues going on in state legislatures, the repeal of the death penalty is a fairly hot topic. If I was a state delegate, how would I have voted? I think I would have voted in favor of the repeal, but for one reason and one reason only. I think I would have been supportive of a number of amendments to retain the death penalty in certain cases and for certain crimes. But I think I would have ultimately wanted this case to have been decided by referendum. And I think that that's where this is ultimately going. I think the death penalty repeal is ultimately going to go to referendum in the 2014 election. I've heard so many compelling arguments on either side of this discussion that the system is imperfect. The justice system has always been imperfect, from Ever since there was a justice system in human history, it's been imperfect, and innocent people have been accused wrongly, and people who have been guilty have been let off scot-free. That's always going to happen, and it always will. That's not why we throw out the entire justice system. And I do believe that for the baddest of the bad, people who kill children, people who kill their spouse or domestic partner, people who kill police officers, um, or other public safety officials, I think that there should be that sanction available. It doesn't mean it has to be carried out or sentenced, but that sanction should be available to be meted out. That said, the death penalty has been shown. Many studies have shown this. It's applied unfairly. If you're of lesser socioeconomic status, if you're a minority, and you're a criminal, you're more likely to get the death penalty than if you were a white male. And that's not fair. So I think it's such a complex, tangled, emotional issue. I think ultimately it's a referendum issue, and that's where I think that it's going. So we will see. I frankly expect that the death penalty repeal will pass through referendum, and that the death penalty will be repealed in the state. And obviously, I don't think that there's any question that Governor O'Malley's going to sign the repeal. Um, but here in Howard County, half of our delegates say death penalty good, half of our delegates say death penalty bad. If I were to probably take a poll of Howard County, I'd say that's a little bit off. I'd say it would probably be about 60 to 65% of the people against the death penalty, and the remainder for it. So, um, business just got a little bit more interesting with respect to the 2014 elections. So we will see if the votes of the two delegates from District 12 cause any other people to step into the fray and decide to run against them. Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching today, true believers. And this is Marshmallow Man signing off. Have a great weekend, y'all.